to give us a background of the first presenter, which is Professor Tayo Arulogun, that is going to present on pre-COVID-19, the state of distance learning in Nigeria. Professor Tayo Arulogun is a professor of computer systems engineering in Naruki African University of Technology, Ogbomoso, Nigeria. Tayo holds a doctorate and a master's degrees in computer science, microprocessor, and control engineering from LAUTECH and University of Ibadan in 2009 and 2004, respectively. He was a research fellow at Hasso Plattner Institute for Computer System Engineering in Germany in the year 2012. He has supervised and mentored many master's and PhD students who are key decision makers in industry, government, and academia. He rose through the ranks from graduate assistant in the year 2001 to a full professor in the year 2016, garnering administrative experience ranging from level advisor and so on and so forth. Professor Tayo Arulogun belongs to many professional and regulatory bodies such as Computer Professionals Registration Council of Nigeria, Council for the Registration of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, Institute for Electrical and Electronic Engineering, IEEE. Tayo is currently serving as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs at Kampala International University, Uganda. May I have Professor Tayo Arulogun on?
Thank you, moderator, Dr. Adigun. I believe everybody can hear me.
Yes, sir, we are hearing you, sir.
All right, thank you, moderator. Vice Chancellor, permit me to observe the already established protocol that you've laid down. Distinguished professors, administrators, colleagues, participants, good morning. And I want to follow the line of the Vice Chancellor, good morning at a distance. Today, my topic is pre-COVID-19, the state of open and distance learning in Nigeria. Yes, we're actually in a very trying and extraordinary time globally because this pandemic has actually affected every corner of the world. And what we have is that as at yesterday, there are about 13 million people that have been infected and over 500,000 have died. So we have to, so there are a lot of things. And what I want to say also about open and distance learning in Nigeria is that even before COVID started, we have our own challenges about education in Nigeria in terms of access, in terms of high cost of education. All these challenges are not likely to go even when COVID has gone. So my job is easier today, and I will start with distance learning. What is distance learning? It's a form of education that ensures that learner and the teacher are separated by distance using specialized techniques and special organizational administrative arrangement that ensures that open and distance learning is relatively cheaper and then the quality is not diminished. So most times we mix distance learning and e-learning, but actually e-learning is just a tool for delivering distance education. Just like in the face-to-face, brick and mortar university, tertiary institution, we have physical facilities, the lecturer teaches one-on-one or one-to-many. But when you combine the e-learning and the physical teaching, then you have what is called hybrid learning, which can result in blended learning, face-to-face, web-enabled, then emergency remote teaching, just like what is happening now during this COVID period, where there is emergency movement of content online to ensure that teaching continues during this period. And also, e-learning also ensures that distance learning meets the need of every student, whether you are old, young, whether you are working, whatever is your situation, distance learning can take care of that. And also we have quick and easy access. You can get courses immediately and quickly wherever you are. And it's highly affordable and also scalable to the practitioner and also the student. If demand increases, you scale up your infrastructure. If demand reduces, you scale down your infrastructure. And when we look at open distance learning in Nigeria, And generally, we see different models of distance learning. We have examination preparation model, correspondence education model, multiple mass media, group distance. You will see that most of these distance learning model are being practiced in Nigeria. But most often time, we don't even recognize that they have a form of distance learning. I give you an example of the examination preparation model. We are all aware of JAM. We are all aware of WAHEC. What they are doing is a form of distance learning. They prepare, students are just going to write exams. They give syllabus, they give a curriculum for students to go and study on their own. And once the student is ready, you come and write exam. There are universities running this model, but it's not common in Nigeria. But that model is being used by JAM. And also, when you look at the multiple mass media model, that is using radio and TV, which is what most countries in Africa have actually moved onto during this COVID period. Then there's group distance education model. This model is what now is using that we can refer to as the study center model that ensures that group of students are put compulsorily in a particular location and this content of distance education are delivered to them at that point. So I want to talk about distance learning space in Nigeria. Like, it's not actually new. Distance learning has been with us for almost a century. As far back as 1930, when there were correspondence between UK universities and some Nigerians. And during that period, the problem was also problem of access because there was no place for them to actually learn. And also, as far back as 1977, the first indigenous national policy of education also emphasized that open and distance learning should be used at all levels of education in Nigeria, primary school, secondary, and tertiary education. So why are we not doing all this? There has been policy implementation problem, gaps implementing policy about open and distance learning in Nigeria. And the problem that open and distance learning can actually solve are numerous, but I will talk about majorly two of them, which is problem of access. There is crisis of access to education in Nigeria and problem of high cost of education. That is, we want to educate almost 30, 40, 50 million young people. How can you do it? You need open and distance learning to do that. And in Nigeria, currently, there are 11 approved distance learning centers in Nigeria, ensuring that existing single mode university that will actually teach in face-to-face mode can also teach in open and distance learning. And this is the number of universities that have been granted. Yeah, more could be added. And there are this. And for us to actually appreciate the crisis of access, we see that the Nigerian university system or tertiary education system has limited number of universities, polytechnic, and colleges of education. And when you benchmark this with the population of Nigeria, which is between 195 million and 200 million, we have a large number of young people between age 15 and 24. And when we look at the demographics, we see that they are about almost 40 million. That is looking at 15 to 24 years people. And even when you look at another age band, which is 25 to 54 years, they are about 60 million. And that means to educate this large number of people, the existing university tertiary institution platform will not be able to cater for these people. And if you want to do that, you will need almost to double or triple the existing university system. Let me quickly show you that a lot of good applicants get no placement. If you look at the data provided by National Bureau of Statistics, and you see the registration of UTF for UTME for the past 5 years, we see that usually less than 50% are always admitted yearly. And what happens to the rest 50%? If you look at 2019, which is very recent, we see that 1.9 million applicants applied to write JAM, and only 612,000 were actually admitted, representing just 30%. But if you look at the data from JAM directly, you see that JAM says 1.15 million were actually candidates qualified that had 5 O-level credits and passed the and exceed the pass mark of 180 mark. And with this, we have just 52% that were admitted by the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. This leaves over 42%, which is quite high, which is more than 500,000 applicants that are qualified, but they were not admitted. So there is a major crisis of access, because when you look at the population of Nigeria, there are a lot of other people that were not able to register for one reason or the other. So it's a large number. And also, this statistic also from the JAM 2019, we see that a lot of applicants do apply to wrong programs that have less admission quota. You look at sciences, 450 applicants applied, and only less than 50,000 were admitted. And there are programs, and also there are programs that have capability to engage more people, to employ more people when they graduate. And that means we should advise our younger people to apply appropriately. Also, ODA universities are actually looking for to run ODA platform should make good use of this data. It's going to be essential for them. And the second problem that open and distance learning is solving in Nigeria is high cost of delivering education at large scale. Imagine that over 500,000 students that were qualified and the government wants to absorb them to ensure that they absorb, then we will need to increase access. And when you increase access, quality falls down unless you are ready to spend enormous money to engage more lecturers, build more classroom, laboratory, and this is what we call iron triangle. And ICT has been proven to solve the problem of iron triangle because ICT can scale access and at the same time reduce your cost over time. So these are the two problems that open and distance learning is solving. And we see from statistics from existing dual mode university, we see that open distance learning is relatively cheaper compared to the face-to-face system. So it solves problem of affordable education. NUC has guidelines for anybody that wants to, any university that wants to run open and distance learning, and is available on the website. And what you can actually see is that these are the guidelines. You have approval from the university, Senate, Governing Council, have your policy, and have your course materials available and what technology you want to use. But most aspiring institutions usually have challenges in the area of system of learner support and course material availability. Because course material actually embeds all the skills and the activities of the lecturer, and also the classroom environment are embedded into the course material. There are challenges in ODL because it could solve some problems. And the first challenge is ICT infrastructure and capacity development. If you have the facilities in place, ICT infrastructure, computer network, cloud platform, software, what about the people that will use it? Capacity development. That is the capacity of the learner to actually learn online, and the capacity of the lecturer to take content online, and also the capacity, ICT capacity of the administrator to administer program online. So we see that a lot of activities are taking place. And when you look at this closely, you see that in Nigeria is a national problem in terms of ICT infrastructure and capacity development. So as I was talking about the challenges of ODL in Nigeria, I mentioned that we have ICT infrastructure problem, capacity development, and also policy and regulatory environment. The policy and regulatory environment is actually changing because most of the regulators are actually now understanding, and they are now becoming more transparent in terms of assessment of open and distance learning once they've discovered the capability of it. So like I was saying, ICT development infrastructure, these are some of the things that are challenges of using technology. There are a lot of distractions and security issues that need to be taken care of. And while I'm talking about this now, ICT infrastructure is a major challenge. And International Telecommunication Union was able to capture this as a national problem for Nigeria. And we see that Nigeria is ranked out of 176 countries and as number 143. And the most significant thing about this statistic is that for the past 3 years, Nigeria has been ranked at the same position. And that means we are making a lot of motion without movement. This means that there has been no significant impact in terms of ICT infrastructure funding that Nigeria government is using. and or maybe the population is so much or government is not actually doing enough. When you look at ICT readiness, Nigeria scored 3.16 out of 10, which is very low. ICT intensity, which looks at how people use ICT in the society and the skill of the users, is also 3.53. And when we also look at ICT impact, we see that the overall impact of ICT use in terms of effectiveness and efficiency of using ICT, we discover that Nigeria scored 2.60, which is quite small. And this also is one of the reasons why you see that most educational institutions in Nigeria find it difficult to actually quickly move online during this COVID period. So we have a lot to do in this regard. And when we also look at what are the measurements that are actually measured by the ICT Development Index, we'll see that it measures the use, what are the number of laptops are available in the country, access to internet, and also the skill, the university tertiary institution enrollment rate. For Nigeria is very low, and that is also corroborated by the data from Bureau of Statistics. So we see that we have a lot to do in Nigeria to ensure that we're able to move our content online and also to benefit open and distance learning in Nigeria. So readiness, we are not ready in Nigeria in terms of ICT infrastructure, and also the capacity building, capacity of the lecturers, the administrator, and even the student to take learning online. And while saying that, I also want to say there are pockets of capacity that are available in various universities and tertiary institutions, and also ICT infrastructure that we can actually leverage and move some of the content online and ensure that we continue engaging our students during this period. So, and I was talking about what were the measurements, what were the things that were measured by the ICT Development Index. It looks at the number of households with internet, which is very small for Nigeria, and then the number of households with computer. Also look at secondary enrollment, that is the primary secondary school, and which has actually increased in 2016. Between 2016 and 2017, it has increased. And when you look at the tertiary enrollment, it is quite small, and which could be benchmarked with the data from National Bureau of Statistics that shows that we are not having that. But when you look at a close by neighbor that shares similar educational system with Nigeria, which is Ghana. Ghana is ranked number 7 in African region, while Nigeria is ranked 15. We see that Ghana scored 4.36 out of 10 and 3.5 in terms of use sub-index, and the skill usage 4.43. So we need to do a lot more in that area. And when you look at countries that are doing better, which are developed countries, but we cannot move up to them, but that means we need to spend purposely or focus our spending in areas that will benefit ICT Development Index, because ICT Development Index correlate very well with Human Development Index and also Economic Development Index of the country. If we do that, we'll be able to make a lot of impact. And I want to conclude this presentation that ODA has greater prospect to enhance Nigerian educational space and is able to reduce the cost of education and also solve most of the problem of access to education in Nigeria, because we want to train that large number of people to improve our economic index. We have to look towards open and distance learning. Then the next one is provision of ICT infrastructure to enhance Nigeria ICT Development Index. And government needs to do a lot in this and also review the spending and the area where they're actually spending money to. And this is a lot. And also it's not only government alone that needs to spend on this. We also need to look at the private sectors. And when you look at especially the telecommunication companies, you see that we've not seen any telecommunication company that has helped any tertiary institution to move our content online to ensure that learning continue during this period, or do what we call zero rating of e-learning platform for students in Nigeria. This is an area where they can actually do more. And then University in Nigeria needs to collaborate on capacity building and courseware development, because there is large market. If you call it market, there's large market, and university needs not to compete among themselves. Course material should be changed, should be exchanged among university, and this will go a long way, also the capacity building. And the last one is need for more sensitization of all stakeholders, that open and distance learning is not quite different from face-to-face learning, and that open and distance learning can enhance a lot of the challenges of education in Nigeria, and it helps more of the employers, because the student that runs through open and distance learning will not likely steal time of the employer learning, and all these are a lot of other benefits. And also with this, we can say online learning can help us a lot to educate the large population that we have in Nigeria. So thank you so much. Moderator, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Tayo Arulogun, for that wonderful presentation. I believe each and every one of us has gained little thing from your presentation, more especially as it concerns e-learning, the types of modules that are used in ODL, some of the challenges, and so on and so forth, and some of area whereby some ODL institutions can collaborate. If you have any questions for Professor Tayo Arulogun, I will employ us to please note the question down. So after the second presentation, we're going to take a few questions before we proceed for the remaining two presentations.